Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show. I remain your grateful host, and in studio with me still, Q Magic. What's up, Q?
Mela, it's so wet outside. When's it going to stop raining?
Well, thank God for them detention ponds. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's at least keeping the water off the roads.
And all the folks out there, just be careful. Hey, we're rebroadcasting from earlier today. Got some stuff going on, and I appreciate your courtesies there. All right, so we are broadcasting from the KPEL studios and from rumble.com. So that chat, I think the chat will still go on, right, even though we're rebroadcasting?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, now, y'all behave on that chat. I'll see it after the fact, and I can't wait. And shout out to our viewing audience at KLFY+. All right, it is raining out there right now. Don't know if it's still going to be raining while we rebroadcast. If so, be careful out there. All right, guys. Man, this one coming from Minnesota again. So we covered this quite often, and rightfully so. So this time, that wasteful, the fraud programs, Feed Our Future, all that stuff in Minnesota, Governor Walz kind of created a very relaxed environment over there, to say the least. Well, this time, there's an article out, several articles out on Ilhan Omar, Representative Omar. Q, you may have saw this. Her district is now home to all where that's going on. That's her district. It's home to the welfare fraud scandals, the welfare fraud capital of the world, apparently, in Minneapolis or Minnesota over there. $1 billion, by the way. And we talked about this. $1 billion meant to feed school children during the pandemic. All the COVID-19, make it rain, was siphoned off by insiders who ran all the stuff we've been talking about. Fake meal sites, fabricated millions of meals, meaning they said they provided it, but they didn't, and they got paid for it. They pocketed the money for mansions, literally, okay? Designer shopping. You saw that Nordstrom Rack, too, like pretty exclusive over there.
They needed their brand names.
Oh, and bogus nonprofits. Of course, hey, why look into all that? Why look into a nonprofit? And the deeper the investigators are apparently digging, the more that the story circles back to the political environment Omar built in Minneapolis. This is what this one story is focused on. All right? So Minnesota, cover the facts, bring everybody back up to speed here. Minnesota handed out roughly $250 million through a pandemic meal program that Representative Omar helped authorize. That's the key takeaway here. This is what I understand. How come Democrats were cool with loosening all the oversight on all this COVID spending, but they'll stand in every way of a small business owner trying to create jobs?
And don't forget, if you don't have TSA pre-check, the price doubled.
That's right. No joke. No joke. And how serious are those pre-checks? That thing seems like that's not where you would want to loosen up.
Right?
I think you might be, we remember 9/11. We're okay with the security. I mean, I think most of us are at the airport. Maybe not crazy. But anywho. But oversight was loosened during all this. Site inspections where they actually inspect, what's going on and seeing if the services that the tax-paying dollars are paying, that little inspect what you expect, checks and balances, they were waived. Bulk take-home food could be reimbursed with almost no verification. Just, here's your invoice. Well, here's the money. It's COVID-19. It's the COVID-19 money tree. The nonprofit Feeding Our Future, which has been the highlight of several segments on the Josh Guillory Show as of late, rightfully so, again. That program, Feeding Our Future, it became the main funnel for that specific money. Okay, the whole $250 million and beyond, because we're covering one part of it with Representative Omar. Oh, yeah, but distributed, they get the money. They're the main funnel. They distribute it, you know how it goes, to dozens of for-profit operators, by the way, and for nonprofit. They're filled with huge claims with little proof, but then they get the money. 78 people have now been indicted so far. Several have been convicted. All right, so one of the fraud leaders, Salim Ahmed Saeed, co-owner of Safari Restaurant, and that's not the internet browser on your phone. Okay, I thought about it when they kept referencing Safari. I'm like, what are they talking about? And they were like, was it real Safari? Oh, it's a restaurant. Okay, cool. So Safari, gee, that's what went through my head. Safari Restaurant, so the co-owner, Mr. Saeed, there's several Saeeds I'll reference. So this one's Salim Ahmed. So at that restaurant where Mr. Saeed co-owns, that's where Omar held her 2018 victory party for Congress. Okay. Well, Mr. Saeed stole over $12 million and spent it on luxury living. That's what the suites I was referring to, the penthouses. Yeah, real good patriot over there. Another Omar campaign worker pleaded guilty to stealing over $3 million through a fake youth program. Okay. That helps folks, right? Nothing like stealing from the kids. A top aide of Omar publicly defended feeding our future when state officials started raising alarm. So instead of, and this is a top official from the Congresswoman, instead of saying, hey, what are you talking about? Can you give me some facts here? I am a top aide, whatever that is. Assuming close to the Congresswoman. Maybe there's some red flags. Oh, no. That would be like a human would do that. A regular person would do that. Like, what are you talking about? Let's give me some facts. Hey, how can I help you? You know, things like that. But instead, the top aide of Miss Omar, started accusing investigators of racism and telling the community to push back. We're not racist. We're just fraudsters. Come on now. So Representative Omar later condemned the fraud. Nope. She returned $7,400 in donations from now convicted individuals and maintained she had no knowledge of wrongdoing. That's where she said, that's what she said, and that's a fact. She did return those donations. And, you know, you don't always know who donates to you, and you don't always know what their intentions are. But that is the factual landscape. I'm going to give my thoughts, of course. But and I wish the phone lines are open today so we could get your thoughts. But that's the factual landscape. So no courtroom has accused Miss Omar of any crime. She's not been indicted or anything like that. But what I'm focusing on is what I usually focus on in the elected leader, and that is the culture. The culture she and Minnesota's leaderships nurtured during this whole fiasco made this disaster possible. All right, guys, stick around. We'll take a small little break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Hey, this segment's brought to you by our friends over there at C Safe, man. I love those guys at C Safe. Always practical and ready to help you, man. Americans over there, boy. All right, so what happened in Minneapolis, what we've been talking about with all this fraud, and many folks are, not enough people are talking about it. I will say that. Not enough folks in the mass media are talking about it. I wish we would. I'm not accusing the congresswoman of a crime. I'm really not. It's bigger than her. She's just a puppet. That's obvious. She is a pure, emotional, passionate human being that is clueless. And I say that, listen, people are going to say I say that with respect. I am being brutally honest and objective here, okay? But that's okay. That's all right. She at least stays true to what she said when she campaigned. I'll give her that. Wish our Republicans, all of them, and we only need a few. We don't even need all of them. We just need a few leaders. Just a few leaders that just do what you say you're going to do, especially down the road in Baton Rouge. It's so easy. It's one of the easiest jobs, I'm telling you. I am telling you. What happened in Minneapolis didn't grow out of nowhere. I'm telling you that too, by the way. It grew out of a doggone political climate. And that's the problem here. We don't have adults in office anymore. We got kids. We got little plays, okay, that try to legislate and govern through sound bites and junior high prom, I don't know, going wild maybe? Like little 8th grade prom go wild, you know? Is that the level of maturity Congress is at right now? I mean, look, man, y'all can say what you want, Congress, about Trump. Y'all are making that dude look like a freaking scholar. Y'all are making that dude look like calm, okay? But all of this, all of what we're seeing, it grew out of a political climate where guilt trips replaced accountability. Racist. Whoa! Not a racist. Don't call me a racist. That's old. It's tiring. Gosh. You call something a racist and it became a shield to block scrutiny. And we see it over and over and over and over. And where entire agencies are doggone backed away from basic oversight because they didn't want to be shamed for doing their job. Oh, no. Do the right thing and be called mean? Oh, gosh. Stop the fraud or I'll be called a racist. Hey, we are outside the state, too. So any of our friends in Minnesota, if that scared you, like if you identify as woke, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't give my disclaimer. I forgot. Close your little ears, okay? Just little muffs. Put your little woke muffs on so it don't hurt your little ears, okay? Translate to some common sense. What's going on in Minneapolis? Or what's not going on? Let's keep talking about it, shall we? All right. Listen, obviously I'm talking tongue-in-cheek. You can't run government that way. You can't run public money that way. That's a big deal. You cannot keep kids fed, taxpayers protected, and programs honest when doggone bureaucrats are over there more afraid of tweets than fraud. It ain't their money. Who cares? They get paid. They get a retirement, man. Turn those light switch on. They come on, even in a shutdown. Why don't we shut the electricity? Why don't we shut the electricity off when we shut the government down of these government buildings? Man, we'd save so much money. Can we just tell Congress to stay home? First, fix this debacle with Obamacare. You know, you're going to have to address that eventually. You know, do that. And then can we pay you to stay home, please? Like, gosh, Texas, I hear, and that's Congress, but even our legislature, Texas is way bigger than us. Don't they meet like every 2 years? Or something like that?
It's like every 2 years, and they're paid if I remember right, they're paid next to nothing.
And guys, that's okay. That's not a problem. You're representing. It's okay. Like, it's designed for you to be a worker, to go out there in the community and actually touch grass and be a real human and come to the capital, in that case, Austin, in our case, Baton Rouge, or in Washington, and bring the ideas of your district. But we don't even see that anymore because we have play going on. We got little children. Not all of them. Some of them try to do the right thing. Then they get called whatever. It's just so weird. It's okay though. Listen, I'm telling you, I promise. We will get through this. We are going through something. I'm not going to go as far as saying it's a purging because that's kind of taken on its own name. I've heard people describe this time period in our life as a purging. It may be, I don't know. But we are in a moment where I'm not going to say we're insane, but we are living in a time where sanity is very rare in the circles of people that are in charge of all three levels of government where I live. Okay? Now, I don't know about you. Actually, most of you don't have to say that because most of you live in communities where, you're spending money where you need to spend money, on roads, on public safety, on infrastructure, and keeping government the hell out of the way so you can have businesses come in so you can raise your tax base and lower your tax doggone rate. That means lower taxes, rhinos, and actually spend the money on what government's supposed to spend on. Your local economy will soar. How do I know that? That's a good thing about history, Q. You can't really run from facts.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
And hard economic data.
Yeah. Like, it's easy to be in a campaign and lie about somebody. Then you got to govern. You know? And this is what Omar's seeing, too, Representative Omar. Bring it back to her. She's not some mastermind, all right? She is a politician who rode activist networks into office and then, like I said earlier, and then governed with the same activist habits. That's dangerous. Emotion first, accusation second, oversight last, if any at all. That is the culture that is being bred by multiple leaders in the Democrat Party and several in the Republican. I'm just so frustrated. My frustrations with my own party is maybe we don't know what a majority means. And maybe these guys in Congress don't know what budget reconciliation is. They know what it is. The Democrats have shown them. Nancy Pelosi and not Schumer, well, maybe Schumer, but Nancy Pelosi surely showed you how to do budget reconciliation. We do have Obamacare. It's not that the Republicans can't shrink the government. It's not that the Republicans can't cut $2.1 trillion that Joni Ernst from Iowa found. It's they don't want to. And that's my party. That's a lot of your party, too. But it's better than the alternative right now. But it can still work if we just have the candidates do what they say they're going to do when they get in office. I love the campaign conservatives, but I'd really like them to be consistent conservatives. I love what the campaign conservative talks about, but because here's why. A conservative knows the value of government is most weighted heavily at the local level where things happen. And you can be you, because even that Democrat mayor will balance the budget better than some bureaucrat Republican in Washington. It's the nature of the design. And if those woke liberal policies in your city or town or village aren't cool with your people, they will leave to a local city that doesn't subscribe to all that. Or maybe that's your thing. And that's cool too. See this thing, we the people? It's all right to be different. Different doesn't mean deficient. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Phew, you got me on a tangent. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Woo, this segment's brought to you by my friends over there at C Safe, man. Go check those guys out. I love them. Clay and all them, man. Good folks. Good folks. All right, local, by the way. Always like that. All right, so Representative Omar, she creates this culture. She's whining and dining all the stuff with all these little terrorist groups that are using the nonprofit system and the program. This case, $250 million program. We talked Feed Our Futures, one of the programs that funnel to all the other nonprofits and openly for profits. Not saying that's anything wrong. There's a process. If it's enforced, Minnesota, if it's enforced, it's a process that's supposed to vet all this stuff out. But Representative Omar, her staff, they have some connections to it. So when not her necessarily, but her staff, and when they're confronted or even asked about it, well, you would think a responsible professional who is a public servant would say, well, come on, open the door, let's go. What you got? I don't have anything to say because I didn't do anything. What do you want me to say? You can't defend something that didn't happen. No, not. They call the investigators, well, you know it, racist. And the state auditors, instead of doing their job, they cower down like little in the fetal position, like little babies, like little bureaucrat babies. Get them their little bureaucrat bottle. I wonder if they do that in bureaucrat school. I always wonder. I never went and checked it out. I went like you start off a little baby bureaucrat, like this is how you say no. All right. Now you graduate to preschool. This is how you say, this is how we've always done it, and we can't do it that way. All right, and then you get to like junior high, and it's like, I just have to wait out till this guy's out of office. Cool. But anyway. So yeah, they just called the auditors racist. That's all you have to do? I will say, auditors are the biggest political hack jobs in the world. So at least in Louisiana, I don't know about Minnesota, but like legislative auditor and all those guys, that's about as political as it gets. About as political as it gets. Horrible. And you pay it. But Representative Omar, well, she celebrated the meal program publicly. That was back in 2020 and other times. That was when it was already being abused. I highlight that not because she was covering it up. I'll be honest with that, okay? I don't have any evidence that she was directly involved. It's the culture. That's what I'm pointing at, the culture. Birds of a feather flock together. You gotta get rid of that stuff. You can't always find it. I get it. And people do act outside the scope of the leader all the time. That's what I'm saying. She has no clue. She's the leader. She has no clue about these little minor things. I mean, they're big, but like the day-to-day stuff. But she put these people in. And then when all this was rolling around, she didn't even look at it. Just, Then when they were caught, she returned the donations. Like, don't play. Like, I already told you. She ain't the mastermind. She's the passionate vote getter to be the puppet master. To be the puppet for the puppet master. She is riding pure on fumes of emotion and woke ideology, and it's enough to get elected. So, hey, whatever. I mean, look, okay. Usually those are just safe votes for the Democrat Party. They don't really care for Omar because she talks a little too much for their liking. They like their slaves to be quiet, the Democrat Party. They used to have different measures to keep slaves quiet, but we've, I guess, evolved in our humanity.
I think Republicans also took away most of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're the ones that took those horrible tactics away. Jeez, man, if still at the Democrat Party, we'd have Jim Crow and everybody would be wearing 5 masks. We'd have to crawl to the bread line, beg for mercy from the king, government, that knows everything because all we had to do is give them a little bit of power, right? That's a little bit of power. Well, Miss Omar celebrated the meal program. Oh, that's great. People in her own political circle stole millions. She kept attending their events like everything was fine. Look, maybe she didn't know. Maybe she didn't want to know. But governing representative, governing congresswoman requires more than vibes. requires more than vibes. It requires a spine. And all those doggone auditors that cowered out should be fired. Oh, you were threatened to be called a racist? God, what weaklings are we raising in Minnesota? Man, I was in the military with some guys from Minnesota. Man, those guys were awesome. They were nothing like this. Jeez. And they had accents. I liked it. Like Minnesota. You meet a lot of people in the military. you meet people of all walks of life. I remember seeing like an Australian soldier in Kuwait waiting to go up to in country. And that was amazing. Oh, he had an accent too. Their magazines were so much different than what we had. It was fascinating. But I digress. I don't think my audience cares to hear about that right now. But what we do understand as an audience, as a whole, as a team, as a family over here at the JSG show, we understand something else. And I'm tired of us not being recognized as this. We Republicans, we conservatives, and we Americans as a whole welcome immigration. Because there's a whole other aspect of this discussion we're having about Madam Omar. We welcome immigration. We are a country of immigrants, especially here in South Louisiana. My goodness, we're probably one of the most welcoming, most understanding of immigration and people being oppressed and things like that. Come on now. We want it to be done right. We want it to be done legal. And we want immigrants here who want to build an honest life. If not, get the hell out of here and stay out. No one should apologize for that. Would you want someone coming in your house, stealing all your stuff, breaking all your things, and then sleeping on your couch and flipping you the bird when you tell them to get out? Heck no. You say, please get out. And if they don't, you take measures it escalates.
One way or another, they are departing.
I only advise legal activity. Genuinely, I do, really. All right. But when people bring with them, and I'm talking about the Somali little community of Somalia, the community in Minneapolis, this one particular one, when you bring with them the corrupt government habits that they escaped from, clan networks, that's a real thing over there. Clan networks, intimidation tactics, accusations used as weapons. Like, go back to Somalia. You end up with exactly what Minnesota is dealing with right now. I'll get it out the way for you. Go ahead and call me a racist. He's a racist. Not the first time I've been called that. I love everybody. I don't understand. I really don't. But that's reality, man. Like calling people. The racist card is such a weak, dude. And it's so classic that it's coming from the biggest racist party that has ever existed in our country, the Democrat Party. And now rhinos in the South are starting to bring their little big government habits to local communities and states across the South and in Republican deep red communities. And it ain't hard. It ain't hard. You get a few networks on board, you throw a few lies out there, and by the time it's discovered, you already won the election. In 4 years, people forget. Especially if the guy before you did a really good job, because then you won't notice anything bad because the guy did a good job on the things that matter. It's a slow bleed, my friends, when you elect rhinos. It's a slow bleed. Get little panhandlers, get some trash, get some grass, start neglecting infrastructure. Hey, but let's focus on a parade route. All right, so let's keep going here. Some of the silly things. We got important issues, and we're going to talk about that, where government has no business being in. Jeez. The people who stole this money over there in Minneapolis, I was going to say, I'm not going to go there. They feared being accused over there. They didn't fear the law. They wouldn't have done it, man. They feel so emboldened because they've been getting, big government is such a profitable business for these guys. We understand that. We, the people, really do get that, but yet and it's not our fault. We elect people that tell us a certain thing and they're believable, okay? But something happens up there, and I'm sorry. Until we get term limits, I don't see it changing. Until we get term limits on Congress, it's not going to. And we can meet people where they're, even give the guys in there, let them ride it out like the dinosaurs. But everybody going forward, has a term limit. Something. We got to start somewhere. Because right now, only 8 people, maybe 4 people are running Congress. It's the leader. It's only the 4 to 8 people that are in charge, and it's equal. It's 4 on one side and 4 on the other. And then they tell everybody else what to do. And then every once in a while, you can be your own person. Every once in a while, if it doesn't rock the boat too much. But that can't be how our founders designed it. And you know that. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Man, let me tell you, when strength matters, when custom matters, when failure's not an option, my boys over there at and girls, C-Safe, they deliver. C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, and outlast the competition in the harshest environments, from offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between. Their products are American-made and manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. Check them out, man. CSafe.com. That's S-E-A-C, just like the ocean. C-Safe, man, I love those guys. All right, so let's keep going on with this. We're talking about this fraud up there in Minnesota. We're talking about the culture that Representative Omar created in her office. The culture we'll rehash on Governor Walz here in a little bit if we get to it, on the culture that he allowed in Minnesota. And I think these two are very parallel, by the way. I think they're both puppets. Again, I say that with love. I do. I really do. And I say that with sincerity. They really are. So it's you got a tale of two people, though. See, Waltz, I think, just kind of likes it. I think he just kind of mumbles around and like, all right, Timmy has the tampon project. Let him go do that. I know it's like his woke thing right now. Let him go. His wife wants to smell burning tires. Okay. Like, we'll let, you know what I mean? He's just, oh, happy Tim. Omar, she believes what she says. You know what I mean? Like, I can respect that. I can respect that. Okay? Like, all that woke stuff, all of that. She is with conviction. I respect the heck out of that. That's why us Republicans get mad. See, the Democrats are telling you, and they'll do it. Republicans will tell you that, not all of them, just a few. I'm on a tear right now. I don't know why. It's just reminding me of some of the promises that some of these elected officials made. And it's frustrating because I know how easy the dang thing is to do. Yes. But let's move on to, And it's also, so this Feed the Future program, all these nonprofits, all this funneling of money, $250 million is what we're talking about right now. It's over $1 billion, I think, a total, or $2 billion or something. It's crazy. All right, probably more as the time goes on. Maybe not. I don't know. They've been looking into this for a while. But it's just about the culture and all this. But there's also a certain population of there. Some illegal immigration going on, and there's some legal immigration where people are coming over and just, look, causing all kind of trouble, sorry, and committing fraud. I don't care. Call me a racist all you want. That's the reality. But if you, and this is my belief, and I think it's American, and I think most people in other countries believe this. If you come to this country, you follow this country's rules. You don't import the dysfunction you left behind. We don't want it. You left it for a reason. You don't bully state workers into silence. Oh, I'm going to call you a racist. And then these cowards say, okay, I won't look. And you don't treat taxpayer dollars like a family fund. Go back to where you came from if that's how you're going to act. Go ahead, call me a racist. I don't care. That's reality. That is what most Americans feel. We welcome legal immigration. And I'll be the first to tell you that too can be more efficient. That too has its own bureaucracy. We could solve all of America's problems if we would get these politicians out the way. And if you term limit them, you would do that. We're going to, at some point, it's going to take about 15 years. I think we have stupid for the next 15 years, and then grown-ups will come and be in charge. I really do believe that. I think we have another 10 or 15 years of silly, of name-calling, of so superficial nonsense. That's why no one respects political offices anymore, because the people that are in the office don't respect it by their actions. It is a privilege to serve the public. It is something that God blesses you with. No matter who gets the credit, you just do the right thing and move on. It's not a burden, it's a blessing, even when it's hard. But these guys that we keep electing, not all of them, there's a few, but man, when they do stand up, it's like they get called racist. I think that's going to the moon and back. Not even back, going to the moon and beyond. I think people see how silly that is. I think people are starting to see beyond all that stuff. How are we doing on time? Oh, I want more. Give me more, Quentin. But again, we said this early. The people who stole this money don't even fear the law. They feared being accused. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
They feared all the backlash. They feared their own political community turning on them. And that's the real story. The environment of intimidation, protect. By the way, what did that intimidation do? It protected the doggone thieves better than any lawyer could. You put all the bells and whistles. Hey, it's just tax dollars, man. It's just tax dollars. Who cares, right? And the governor and all this. He runs the state. His agency saw, this is the thing, his agency saw the red flags back in 2021. And that should have been vetted by the DNC. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, like, honestly, like, looking back, but when you rush through a candidate that couldn't get any votes by herself in 2 rounds, yeah, I get it. Timmy's your guy. Maybe Josh Shapiro's like, I don't want to be on that ticket. He's like, I'll take one for the team, and like y'all say that y'all didn't choose me. Like, y'all didn't say yes to the dress. You know what I mean? But like, I don't want any part of that train wreck. And Tim's like, me. Put me all in. Put me all in. All right. So let's see here. But, you know, here's the thing about this. All these guys, here's the takeaway. That's all right. Here's the takeaway. They allowed the culture around them. The fear of being labeled racist, the fear of upsetting political allies, to freeze them in place. It's all like scary to these guys. Like you and I, what's scary is to not do the right thing. Like you would probably, most of you listening, if you saw fraud, no matter what name you're called, you're going to report it, especially if that's your job. It's not personal. Hey, man, you're not doing the right thing. Here you go. This is my job. Not, oh, you're going to call me a racist? I promise you, I've been called worse. All right, guys. Oh, I wish I had more time. Hey, everybody, be careful out there. May God bless you and be kind.